Hello, my name is Sarah Marcos from Blue Susan Makes, and I have a fun paper craft to show you today on how to make these pretty Valentine's hearts. I call them heart doilies because they're kind of reminiscent of the old-fashioned doilies. If you don't know what a doily is, it's this little paper piece, little imitation lace work. From the olden days, they used to crochet these beautiful lacy doilies to set on a table and set things on to make your table look pretty. And then that's kind of evolved into paper versions, which you might see these underneath desserts, like in a dessert shop. And people would use them for coasters or just to decorate your table for certain events. So, and Valentine's Day, you can find ones that are heart-shaped. And so I thought we could make some kind of doily-esque paper hearts, and I want to show you how I made them. So in order to make this project, you just need any kind of paper will do. Most of these I've made out of construction paper, but you can also, if you want a little sturdier heart, you can use cardstock, or this one is even just made out of printer paper that's colored. So anything that you have will work. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you two different ways to cut them today. This just simple heart version and one that looks a little bit more like a snowflake. And I guess that's really where I got my idea. My kids and I love cutting snowflakes at Christmas time. So we're just going to start with a piece of construction paper and fold it in half. And then I don't have a heart template for you because part of the fun is making your own heart. So you just start at the bottom or the top and cut a nice curve around the top and then back to the middle. And then I kind of always remember, I like it if the bottom line is parallel to the top line, and that kind of gives you the heart shape. So this is a really wide heart. If you want it more narrow, or if you want your V to come deeper, you just cut a little more. I'm going to make this a little bit narrower and cut a little more off of this curve here. But it's really just up to you what the look you're going for is. And then I am going to go a little bit deeper in that middle. All right. So we're going to make a heart that kind of looks a little bit like that. So in order to do that, I'm just going to go ahead and I want the edges to be scalloped. So I could have drawn this heart and just cut the scallops, but I just did it this way. So I'm going to cut a little scalloped edge. And this is good scissor practice for little ones, even for yourself. Learning to cut curves quickly and efficiently is not always intuitive, you know, so I'm just kind of going back and forth, twisting back and forth as I curve those, cut in a little curve. Okay. Now, in order to make these little grooves here, while it's folded in half, I'm just going to cut up about all the way around, about halfway through the heart curve, and I'm going to stop and I'll turn and then come back down and cut this little section out. And as you're making, you can open it up and say, oh yeah, that's cool. I like that. And then keep moving on. So I'm going to do the same thing coming from the other side, and you can just flip it if that's easier to do it that way as well. And then I'm going to give it about a 1/2 inch gap where the paper is still connected. It makes it a little bit fragile, but that's okay. And see, we have a nice little heart silhouette in the middle. And now I'm going to cut a heart out of that middle section as well. It really just depends on what you want it to look like. Half the fun is designing and creating it. There we go. So now I'm going to go ahead and add some little dots, little hole punches with my hole puncher to kind of give it that doily look. This is also a good project to talk about symmetry. You know, as a little educational moment with your kids. That it's symmetrical when you do something to one side and you do the same thing to the other side. You make it symmetrical. So you can just quickly punch these holes around the edges. Like I said, there's no right or wrong to any of this. It's just really for the fun of doing it. So there you have it. So that's one look. All of them obviously are a little bit different. Now if you wanted to add a little something in the middle of this section, you can fold this in half depending on how you want it to look. And then I'm going to cut another little heart out of it. And then you get another repeat just like that. And then to make it lay flat, you can go ahead and take a dry iron to it on an ironing board and press it, or you can just reverse the folds to make them lay flat. All right, so that's one look. I'm going to show you how we make this little snowflake version. Like in Christmas time, we make snowflakes and we fold it in half in six really and make a snowflake. And I'm going to show you how to do that with the heart. Okay, I have another piece of paper here. And I'm going to start by folding it in half. And then I'm going to fold it in thirds from here. Just kind of like think of a pie wedge when you're folding it in thirds. And if you don't get it just right the first time, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you can just adjust your fold a little to make it more even. And now I'm going to cut off this curve right here. And this is how I would start any snowflake that I'm making also. And now I'm going to fold it in half again. So now we have it all in sixths. So from here, I'm just going to cut that heart shape, and this is going to be my center, and swoop it around so this will be the outside. Now I'm going to open it up and see if it has the heart look that I want. Well, that's good. I'm going to make that V go just a little bit deeper in the center to make it even more heart-like. There, and maybe a little bigger on the outside too. So as you can see, you cut a little and you look at it, and you cut a little and you look at it. There we have it. All right, now I want to make a heart in the middle here too. So I'm going to fold it again and do the same thing as we did earlier and just cut that shape. The good thing is construction paper is pretty thin, so cutting through all these layers is not too hard, but it is helpful to have sharp scissors. Mine are not. Mine are kind of cheapy Walmart scissors, so they do leave a little bit of shag on there. But so there you have it. There's that. And now I want to add all these little dots. So if your hole punch is able, you can go through all of them at one time, or you can open it up and go through half of them at one time. So I'm going to try for all of them here. Then you just follow the curve and go all the way around, or add a few here and there, whatever you want. Like I said, it's really fun to get creative and let your kids make a mess and think about how they want it to look, and you really only learn how to do this by doing. All right, now I also like having a little hole in the middle here. So in order to make that, I'm just going to cut a little triangle V cut right here, and it kind of is going right into my heart holes, but that's okay. Now this is the best part, opening it up and seeing what it looks like. Ooh, oh, that's fun. It makes like little points in the middle the way that played with the holes. So anyway, there we have it. Here are just a bunch of ideas, and what we do with these is you can use them to stick up on walls to give people a little heart attack, decorate, your teacher's door or something, or a friend's door. But what I like to do is, we have a Valentine's dinner every year, and sometimes I hang these up across the table by a little yarn. So if you thread some yarn through the holes, and then they just hang across the table in a line, and that's pretty fun to do. Or individually dropping them down from the ceiling. Now this style is easy to hang because it's all symmetrical all the way around, but it's tricky to hang this style. So if I was going to hang this style, I would just thread my yarn through the end so that the heart hangs sideways. And then you can hang some of them sideways, some of them straight, and then just have a fun, crazy heart display. You can find more pictures and more ideas if you continue reading on my blog. And oh, I liked this one too, because this one is like a face, and actually to me it has a little mouth and nose and eyes. And the way I made that one was, I started out this way like we did before. I cut this section out and this section out, and then I just folded this in half and added some more chunks out of that section there. So anyway, that's how that one was made. Pretty fun overall. I hope you'll give this little craft a try, and let me know what you think.